Have you ever wished you had a crystal ball? Well, a totally new kind of financial market is making a pretty wild claim that it can actually price the future, turning uncertainty itself into something you can buy and sell. We are diving deep into how these platforms are essentially creating what some people are calling a truth machine.
All right, the 2024 US presidential election. The whole world is on edge. There is just this insane level of uncertainty. All the traditional experts, all the pollsters, they're calling it a dead heat, a total and complete toss-up. But behind the scenes, a very different story was being written in real time.
What if one platform, just one group of traders, saw the outcome with stunning clarity, weeks before a single vote was even counted? On one side, you have all the established polls from the big outlets, and they are just completely deadlocked. But on the other side, a crypto-based prediction market called Polymarket was showing a decisive 67% probability for a Trump victory. I mean, how could they be so sure when literally everyone else was so unsure?
Well, the answer, it turns out, comes down to one person, a really mysterious French trader known only as Theo, who basically became famous overnight as the French whale. He was the one moving the market, placing tens of millions of dollars on an outcome that, to the rest of the world, looked like a total coin flip. And for that conviction, when the results came in and proved his prediction was dead on, he reportedly walked away with over $85 million in profit. Now, this was not just some lucky guess. This was the result of a truly brilliant and pretty unconventional strategy.
Theo had this hunch that traditional polls were flawed because of a shy voter effect, people not being totally honest about who they're voting for. So he commissioned his own polls, but instead of asking the usual question, he asked something way, way smarter. Who do you think your neighbors will vote for? The results were just staggering. They showed a clear landslide. He had found this massive gap between his private data and the public market price, and he arbitraged that difference for a fortune.
Theo's story is an incredible example of the power of these markets. But how do they actually work? What are the mechanics that allow them to put a price tag on the future?
So the whole thing is built on this concept called the wisdom of crowds. And it's not new. It actually goes all the way back to a country fair in 1907. There was this contest where almost 800 people tried to guess the weight of an ox. Now, no single expert got it right, but the median guess of the entire crowd was 1,197 pounds. The ox's actual weight, 1,198 pounds. They were off by 1 pound. Prediction markets are all about harnessing that same collective brain power.
And they do it with a really simple but powerful tool, the binary contract. It's easy. For any event, you can buy yes shares or no shares. When the event actually happens, the winning shares get paid out at $1 each. And here's the magic. This means the share price at any given moment is a direct reflection of the market's perceived probability. So if a yes share costs 65 cents, the market is basically screaming, there's a 65% chance this is going to happen.
Now, this powerful technology has kicked off a whole new industry, and it's pretty much dominated by two major players, two titans with two very, very different ideas about what the future of forecasting should look like.
First up, you've got Kalshi, the institutional fortress. It was co-founded by Luana Lopez Lara, and her story is just incredible. She went from being a professional ballerina to an MIT computer scientist to becoming the youngest self-made female billionaire. Kalshi's whole strategy is about working within the system, getting full regulatory approval. They're playing by the rules.
And then you have its rival, Polymarket, the crypto-native Leviathan. Its founder, Shane Copeland, is like the perfect crypto archetype. He's an NYU dropout who got into the Ethereum ICO when he was just 15 years old. His whole approach is the opposite. It's permissionless, it's disruptive, it's global, and it's all built on the blockchain to completely bypass the traditional financial system.
So let's just put them side by side because this really breaks down their core differences. Kalshi offers you legal certainty. It operates with US dollars, and the CFTC is watching everything they do. Polymarket, on the other hand, offers pure velocity and variety. It uses crypto to settle trades instantly across thousands of different markets, from politics to pop culture. So yeah, two titans, two completely different playbooks.
This huge difference in philosophy has led to this inevitable, high-stakes collision course with regulators, a battle that is really going to define the future of this entire industry. It really kicked off in 2022 when the CFTC slapped Polymarket with a big fine and basically forced them out of the US. Then, in 2023, they went after Kalshi, denying their election contracts and calling them gaming. But Kalshi sued, and they won, a huge victory in September 2024, with a judge saying the CFTC had totally overstepped.
But then, just when you think things are settling down, federal agents raid the home of Polymarket's founder right after the very election that his platform predicted so perfectly.
So, despite all of this regulatory chaos, this technology isn't just surviving, it is absolutely on the verge of going mainstream. We could be looking at the creation of a new Wall Street, but for information itself.
Intercontinental Exchange, or ICE, the parent company of the New York Stock Exchange, invested a staggering $2 billion in Polymarket. This wasn't just an investment. This was the ultimate stamp of approval from the absolute heart of traditional finance.
So what's next? Well, the potential applications here are pretty mind-blowing. Imagine giant companies using internal markets to get brutally honest predictions on project deadlines, killing bad ideas before they waste millions. Or even cities using a system called Futarchy, where we literally bet on our beliefs to help guide public policy. And maybe the biggest one of all, in an age of AI and so much misinformation, these markets could become a kind of verification layer for reality itself, a truth machine where you have to put your money where your mouth is.
Ultimately, the rise of these prediction markets leaves us with a really provocative thought. In a world where we are just drowning in noise, and opinions, and polls, maybe the clearest, most honest signal we have left is the one that's backed by cold, hard cash. It really makes you wonder, what happens when every fact has a price?